Global football. The beautiful game around the world.
Imagine this. One tournament, 3 countries, 16 cities, 48 nations, and over 5 billion people watching at the exact same moment. That is not a dream. That is not a prediction. That is FIFA World Cup 2026. And if you think you have seen big sporting events before, you have seen nothing yet, because what is coming in the summer of 2026 is not just a football tournament. It is the single largest, most ambitious, most watched sporting event ever attempted in the history of human civilization. And today, we are going to break down exactly why. Every 4 years, the world stops, offices go quiet, streets empty out. Families gather around screens in living rooms, in cafes, in stadiums, in open-air fan parks holding thousands of strangers who somehow feel like brothers and sisters for 90 minutes. That is the magic of the FIFA World Cup. Since 1930, when Uruguay hosted 13 nations in the very first edition, this tournament has grown into something no other sport, no other competition, no other event on earth can match. The Olympics come close. The Super Bowl draws enormous numbers, but nothing, absolutely nothing, pulls the entire planet together the way the World Cup does. And in 2026, FIFA is not just hosting another World Cup, they are rewriting the rulebook entirely. More teams, more matches, more cities, more countries, more history. Let us break it all down, number by number, fact by fact, so you understand exactly why 2026 is going to be different from everything that came before it. Let us start with the most important number, 48. For decades, the World Cup featured 32 teams, 32 nations fighting through years of qualifications, through heartbreak and glory, just for the chance to stand on that final stage. In 2026, that number jumps to 48 teams for the very first time in history. Think about what that actually means. 16 extra nations get to experience the World Cup. 16 more sets of fans, 16 more stories, 16 more chances for a tiny footballing nation to shock the world. More teams means more qualification spots spread across every continent. Africa gets more places, Asia gets more places. CONCACAF, South America, Europe, every federation benefits. Football truly becomes global in a way it never has been before. Now let us talk about the host nations. Because 2026 is not hosted by one country. It is not even hosted by 2. 3 countries are sharing the honor for the very first time in World Cup history. The United States of America, Canada, Mexico. 3 nations, 1 tournament. A shared vision that stretches across an entire continent. Mexico becomes the first country ever to host 3 World Cups, having previously welcomed the world in 1970 and again in 1986. The United States hosted in 1994. When football, or soccer as Americans call it, experienced an explosion of popularity that still shapes the sport there today. And Canada. Canada is hosting its very first World Cup ever. A historic moment for a nation whose football culture has been quietly growing for years and is now ready to show itself to the world. 16 cities, 16 venues, all of them extraordinary. In the United States alone, 11 cities will host matches: New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, San Francisco, Miami, Seattle, Boston, Kansas City, Atlanta, Houston, Philadelphia. These are not just cities. These are some of the most iconic urban landscapes on the planet, home to NFL stadiums and NBA arenas that have been adapted to host the beautiful game. MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, home to the Grand Final, holds over 82,000 fans. That makes it one of the largest World Cup final venues in history. Canada brings in Vancouver and Toronto, 2 multicultural, football-loving cities that will create atmospheres unlike anything North America has ever produced. And Mexico contributes Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Monterrey. The Estadio Azteca in Mexico City is a cathedral of football. It is where Pelé lifted the trophy in 1970. It is where Maradona dribbled past 6 England players in 1986, in what many still call the greatest individual goal ever scored. And in 2026, the Azteca will host World Cup matches again, the only stadium in history to do so across 3 separate tournaments. Let that sink in. With 48 teams comes a completely new format. The group stage alone will feature 104 matches across the 3 host nations. In previous tournaments with 32 teams, there were 64 matches total across the entire competition. In 2026, there are more matches just in the group stage than in entire previous World Cups. The tournament runs for 39 days, the longest World Cup in history, and the economic impact staggering. Economists estimate that the 2026 World Cup will generate over $5 billion in direct economic activity across the three host nations. Hotels fully booked for weeks. Flights sold out months in advance. Merchandise, broadcasting rights, sponsorship deals, all breaking records. FIFA itself is projected to generate over $11 billion in revenue from this single tournament, a number that seemed impossible just 10 years ago. But money is not the real story here. The real story is people. The 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar was watched by 5.3 billion people across the tournament. The final alone between Argentina and France drew over 1 billion simultaneous viewers. 1 billion people watching the same match at the same time. To put that in perspective, that is more than the entire population of Europe and North America combined, all tuned in to the same 90 minutes of football, and 2026 is expected to shatter even those numbers. Why? Because of where it is hosted. North America is the last great football frontier. The United States has over 330 million people, and football's popularity there has been growing rapidly, especially among younger generations and Hispanic communities. Major League Soccer has exploded in growth. American players are now competing at the highest levels in Europe. And with the World Cup coming to American soil, a new generation of fans is about to fall completely in love with the game. Canada and Mexico add millions more passionate supporters to the local audience. This is not just a tournament for people who already love football. This is the tournament that will convert millions of new fans into lifelong believers. Every great World Cup leaves something behind. In 1966, England's victory sparked a generation of domestic football growth. In 1994, the American World Cup planted seeds that eventually grew into the MLS and a thriving football culture. In 2002, South Korea and Japan showed Asia that they belonged on the world stage. In 2010, South Africa proved that the African continent could host the world and do it beautifully. And 2026, the legacy of 2026 will be felt for decades. Football in North America will never be the same. A generation of young American, Canadian, and Mexican children will watch their heroes compete on home soil, and they will pick up a football, and they will dream. Infrastructure will be built. Academies will be funded. National teams will be strengthened. The game will grow, and on a global level, the expanded 48-team format means more nations than ever before will taste World Cup football. Many for the very first time. Those moments of first-time qualification, those celebrations in streets from Africa to Asia to the Caribbean. They matter. They grow the game. They remind us why football is not just a sport. It is a language the whole world speaks, so there you have it. 48 teams, 3 nations, 16 cities, 104 group stage matches, 39 days, 5 billion viewers, $11 billion, and one planet, united by the beautiful game. FIFA World Cup 2026 is not just the biggest World Cup ever staged. It is the biggest sporting event in the history of human civilization, and we still have time before it begins. Time to learn every team, understand every group, study every dark horse, and prepare ourselves for what is going to be the most extraordinary football summer any of us have ever lived through. If you want to go deeper on World Cup 2026, the teams, the format, the stadiums, the players to watch, make sure you subscribe right now, because we are going to cover every single angle of this tournament right here on this channel. Hit the like button if this video opened your eyes to just how massive 2026 is going to be, and comment below, which country are you supporting in 2026? We will see you in the next one.